All right, so let's go ahead and get started. My name is Kieran Gandhi. I'm one of the support engineers here at Quizcom. So if any of you have any questions or issues later on in the near future for any of our products, it's usually will be myself or another colleague that'll be answering any of your questions in the future. Now today we're going to be doing a webinar of our Cascading Look app, which is available for Office 365. So it's essentially a port of our on-premise version of a Cascading Lookup, which is available for SharePoint 2010, 2013, and 2016. Now today we're going to take a look at some of the features that we've added to our lookup, which sets it apart from the traditional out-of-the-box lookup that comes with SharePoint. Now the cascading lookup features that we'll be discussing today, which will be cross-site lookups, built-in filter using cascading lookup, and how to filter a lookup based on a view. Okay. Now as you can see, I have a catalog list. Now this catalog list contains a title field, a publisher field, an author field, and an editor field. Now a lot of my lookups using today's examples will be getting the data from this list. So I'll go ahead and give you an example of the features I'll be showing you today. So I'll go ahead and select new item. Try to reload that. Now, while this is loading, I will want to point out that if you do have any questions you'd like to ask during this webinar, please keep them for the end of the webinar, and I'll gladly be able to answer those questions for you. Okay, so now as you can see, my lookup fields have loaded. Now, you might notice that there's something different within this new item view. You'll see that I have divided each feature I'll be showing today within our QuizCom Forms tabs. Now, this is another product we have. Now, if you do have any questions with regards to QuizCom Form tabs, we can answer those at the end of the webinar as well. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna show you our first feature, which is cascading dropdowns. Now, traditionally, cascading dropdowns will be done from the source list or from the current list that you're using. Now, I've created three fields. I've created a publisher field, an author field, and book field. Now, the publisher field will be the controlling field. So if I select Alia, it'll drop down to the author based on the publisher. And you'll see Andreas Seyfarth. And then if I drop down, based on that author, I'll get San Juan. Now, a cool feature on top of this cascading dropdown I'm showing you today is all these fields are actually done through remote lookup. So I'm using cross-site lookup that's looking at a different list on a different site. So I'm gathering all my data for those cross-site lookups from the author's list and from the publisher's list. And you can see at the top, it's from a different site, which is a regional site. Now let's go ahead, I'm going to just cancel out of this, and I'm going to go ahead and create this for you. I have a brand new list here, and I'll create all my examples within this book ISBN listing list. Okay, now as soon as you install your Cascading Look app on your site, you'll notice that there will be an icon at the top. This allows you to go into the settings and configure your Cascading Lookup. I'm going to go ahead and select that. Now, using Cascading Lookup, you can either use an existing lookup. So let's say you have a lookup that's already been created on your list that's using out-of-box lookup. You can use those and actually select it within this column and create a cascading lookup based on that out-of-the-box lookup. So you can create new or existing lookups. It's your choice. So for this example, I'm going to be creating a brand new column, and I'll be calling it Publishers. Now, as I've shown before, I'm going to be selecting the regional site. So it's not going to be my existing delete me demo site. I'm going to be going to regional. So go down, so for regional. Okay, for this one, I'm going to be selecting my target list, which is the publisher's list. which is right here. This is the publishers list. And I'm going to gather all this info from the publisher's name, which is right here under this column. Okay. Now, now you'll see there's many other options here. I'm not going to go to these options for this first example, but I'll show you later on in the webinar how to configure that. Now you'll notice as well that if you scroll down, you'll see add new item text. Now we're not going to use this right now, but I'll show you later on in the webinar how to add a new item or rename the item for that add new item text. So I'm going to go ahead and click apply. Now after clicking apply, there's no need to exit out of the Cascading Lookup settings. You can do everything within the settings, so no need going back to your list and waiting for it to load and going back to Cascading Lookup. You can do everything in one go. So now I've created my publisher's lookup. And I'm going to create another column again. I'm going to call this one authors. And I'm going to get it from the same site, so regional. I'm going to get it from authors, which is going to be a target list, this one right here. And I'm going to gather that information from the author's name, which is right there. Now, there's going to be something different I'm doing with this second tier lookup. I'm going to be adding the control field. Now, the control field will be the one level lookup above the authors field, and that'll be publishers. So I'm going to go ahead and under this filter by another column in the list, I'll be selecting publishers. And then once you select that, it'll add an option here where you can compare the values from publishers to publisher. Okay. Now I'm going to erase that. We don't need that right now. I'm going to click apply. Okay. Now I'm going to create another column, which will be books. And for this one, I'm going to use the existing site. I'm not going to use regional. I'm going to use existing site just to show you how our cross-site capability works with the Cascading Lookup. Okay, I'm going to select catalog right here. Now, just to show you catalogs, right, this list. So I'm going to gather that information from this specific list. Let's go back there. And the target column will be title. And I'm going to select authors here, which will be the controlling field I'll be comparing the values to. And I'm going to show only items where authors equals author. And for this, I'm going to use allow multiple values. This allows you to add multiple values within that field. So you can add or remove multiple values as you wish. So I'm going to select that. And I'm going to change this caption. So I'm going to select write a new book. And select save. Okay, so I'm going to select new item. Now, as you can see that I created the 3-tier lookup cascading behavior using the cross-site feature. So if I select CGE, we'll drop down to Vladishvili. And then these are the books associated with the authors and the publisher. So you can add or you can remove. Now let's say I want to write a book. Now this write a book is, or add new item I should say, it allows you to add a new item to the child list. So you don't have to go back and forth towards lists and add new items. You can do it directly on this list. So I'll go, let's, Tale of Two Cities. Publisher, self-published. Let's go with Charles Dickens. And let's go with QuizCom support. Save. Okay. Now this allows you to add new items quickly without going back to this, as I mentioned earlier. Now let's go ahead and I'm gonna show you another demo. We have another example. Now this is using our built-in filter function. Now this built-in filter function is really good because we found a lot of customers where having a big list where they have like multiple values of the same instance. So they would add the lookup and they'd notice that they'll have multiple values of the same instance, so they couldn't choose which item they want to select because they had to sort through their entire lookup. So which is why we've added a built-in filter. This allows us to narrow down and drill down to specific values you want, even though there's multiple values. Now, if you're using both filters, it'll be an AND function. Now, if you're using just one filter, it'll be an OR function. So let's go ahead and show you how that works. So let's go with Fantasy Flight, and the author will be I'm going to select James Niffen, and you can see based on that author and based on publisher, Civilization: A New Dawn is equal to both those both the publisher and the author. Now I'm going to go even further and show you how the AND function works between both filters. So for publisher, I'm going to choose Fantasy Flight, CGE, and I'm going to choose Eagle Griffin. Now for author, I'm going to choose Vladimir Shavati, Vita Lacerda, and James Niffen. So based on those publishers and those authors, it shows these 5 books. Now you can individually select them, add or remove if you wish, and you can, if you want to add a new book to the child list, you can just select write a new book. So I'm going to cancel out of that, and I'm going to show you how to create this built-in filter. Okay, so I'm going to select my list ribbon, select Cascading Lookup. Okay, that's loading. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I'll be creating this within our Cascading Lookup, which will be using built-in filter with the 2 filters above the multi-value selection. So I'll go back here. So I'll call it books filtered by author and publisher. Okay, now I'm going to use the existing site, which is the Delete Me demo, and I'm going to choose catalog. Now this will be getting my information for this lookup using the filters, and I'll keep it existing as the target column will be title. Now this is where you'll be adding the above filters, so the filters that go above the multi-value selection tool. So for this I'll go with publishers and authors. Now if you have a big list of columns here, you don't always need to go scroll down and look for the specific column you want. You can always just type it out in the search box and it'll find it for you. Okay, and for this one I'm going to allow multiples. Now, just to mention that I'm not adding any other individual fields. The entire example I've shown earlier is one entire field, so there's not separate fields I'll be showing you. Okay, so let's call this write a new book. Now this is where I can add a new item to the child list without going back and forth to different lists. So let's select save, new item. Okay, so as you can see here, the book's filtered by author and publisher, and you have the two filters, author and publisher, and you have a list of books. So let's go with Vlad Shivali and Fantasy Flight. Now, with the author and publisher, there's no books relating to both those, both author and publisher. Now, if I take that out and let's go with Vita Lacerda, there's nothing either. So this allows you to very narrow down your lookup. So if, as I mentioned earlier, if you do have many items that are duplicates and you do narrow it down, this is very good for something like that. So I'll go cancel out of that. Okay, now the third feature I'd like to show everyone today, which is filtered by view. So this filtered by view is really handy in situations where if you have multiple views and you only want to show your lookup fields based on a specific view, you can do that. So if let's say you want a certain user to see specific items within that list, you can do so. And that's what I'm going to be showing you today. So right here I have a list of books. And you'll notice that there's a little search function at the top. Now this allows you to not only scroll down and find your item, but allows you to search as well. So if I just go Scythe, I'll see Scythe here, which it comes in handy in many situations when you have a lookup that contains a lot of items. Okay. So I've created a view on my catalog list. It's called Assign to Me view. So if I go to all items here and select Assign to Me, you'll see that since I'm logged in as QuizCom support, all the items based on QuizCom support will be shown within this view. Now I'll show you how this works on another view as well. So I have a browser here and I've logged in as another user, a QA user 2. Now if I go to the list ribbon here and go to all items, okay, you'll see that there's just an all items. Now what I'll do is I'll go to the catalog, where I have list of data. Now I'll show you how it looks like based on the Assign to Me view. So let that load there for a second. Okay, so as you can see, I have Assign to Me view selected, and I'm logged in as QA user 2. So now all the items here within this list will only be shown to QA user 2. Now, you're probably running how do you set this up? Now it's very easy to set up using our Cascading lookup. And I'll go ahead and set that up so we can show you guys and demonstrate how our views work with lookup. So I'll select app here. Okay, let that load. Okay, so I'm going to create a new column. Okay, and I'm going to call it Books Assigned to Me. And I'm going to get it from the same site we've been working on earlier, from the catalog, and from the title as a target column. Now this is something you haven't shown this earlier, but this is where I'll be selecting my view I've created. Now you can have many views as you want. You can have 1, 2, 3, as many as you want, and you can select the views you would like to use for that lookup. So I'm going to be using Assign to Me view. Now I'm not going to use the filters because I just want to see items based on that assigned to me view. Okay, I'm going to change from add new item text to write book. Okay. Okay, so now you can see that the books assigned to me, this is a list. So I'm logged in as a Quizcom support. So these are all the books based on the logged in user. Now, it doesn't have to be specifically the logged in user. You can just have it based on that assigned view. So if you want certain items to show for that assigned view you created, you can do that within this lookup. Now, I'm going to also write a book. So I'm going to add a new book to the child list. So I'm going to add the same one I had earlier, Tales of Two Cities, self-published, author Charles Dickens, and Quizcom support. Save. Okay, so now if I go to this list, sorry, not list, drop-down lookup, load, you can see Tale of Two Cities is listed there. Okay, now I want to show you how to look in that other view, which is logged in under QA user 2. So I'm going to go to new item. While that's loading. You can see it's still QA user 2, and the list of books will be different. Tail list 2 cities is not there. It's only showing the items based on that QA user 2. Okay, so I showed you 3 cool features for a Cascading Lookup product. Now, if you did want to download the product, you can. It's free to use on SharePoint Online. All you'll see is a free evaluation banner at the top when you use our Cascading Lookup, but it's free to download. I'll show you how to download that on our website. .com. Okay, so you select O365 apps, and you will want to go to Cascading Lookup. Okay, now this is where we'll show you an overview page of what our Cascading Lookup does, and we do have a few videos on there as well, so you can take a look at those if you're looking for further training or additional examples on the Cascading Lookup. Now, if you did want to download and try, it's very easy. You can either manually download and Cascading Lookup and add it to your app catalog, or you can go to your SharePoint Microsoft Store and add it from there. Both ways work the same, and both are free to use as long as you wish. Now, if you did or would like to purchase a license for the Cascading Lookup, you can contact sales@quizcom.com. They'll be able to assist you with the purchase of that license, and it'll also remove the banner. So when your users try to use the Cascading Lookup, they won't see that yellow banner at the top.